Well, hey friends, welcome back to the podcast. This is Monday Fire episode number 50. And I'm taking this podcast topic from chapter 10 out of my book, Fear is Not the Boss of You. If you've read the book, you kind of know chapter 10 is called If Not Mom, Then Who? And you might have a little bit of an inkling of what I'm about to chat about. But if you have not ordered Fear is Not the Boss of You, first of all, what are you doing? And second of all, this is a great chapter for moms. Now, listen, I know that there's like two of you who are men who are listening to my podcast. And first of all, thank you. I'm so grateful for you. But I really am talking to the moms on this episode and want to chat with you about the gifts that God has given you, the dreams that you have, the call of the Lord on your life on this side of heaven, and just really challenge you to get to getting busy with them is the bottom line. Okay. So let's talk about momming. And what I have found in my years of coaching women in business is that I will run into moms who a lot of times will veer off in one of two directions. Okay. So either they have a dream in their heart or they feel like God is calling them to do something. They know that they have gifts and talents that they could use, but they will give one of two reasons as to why they cannot. Okay. So number one, they will say, it's because I have kids. Like, I just can't do it right now because I have kids and, the kids take up so much time. It's going to be better when they get like into kindergarten, and then they get into kindergarten. It's like, well, I'm going to wait till the kids get into junior high, and then it's high school, and then it's college, and then they're making grandbabies for you. And so before you know it, you're 65 years old and you've served your family your entire life, which by the way is admirable and honorable, but you haven't served perhaps the Lord with the gifts that he gave you and what he was hoping that you would do with them on the side of heaven. There's another group of people who it's not that they necessarily use their kids as a reason to keep kind of putting things off, but what they actually do is they prioritize the life of their kids and the position of mom to a point where that takes precedence over the call of God in their life. Now, listen, I remember one time I was glancing through Instagram and looking at Jamie Ivey, and she had a post up, and I'm not going to remember it, word for word, but it was essentially this: Moms, we can't teach our children to be sold out for the gospel of Jesus when our kids just seeing us being sold out for them. And I was like, Lord have mercy. Let me say that again. It was something along the lines of, moms, we can't teach our kids to be sold out for Jesus when all our kids see is us being sold out for them. And I thought, oh my goodness, there's so much truth for that. See, there's, I think, this line of thinking that if we lay everything down for our children, that's what good momming looks like. And I want you to know that that certainly that could be what a good mom looks like. And I'm the last one to try to, give you parameters around what good momming looks like. But I think that we need to remember a couple of things. And that's what I wanted to go over this morning. Number one, I want you to remember, moms, that before you were a mom, you were a full, whole, complete person. Before you were somebody's mom, you were probably somebody's spouse. Before you were somebody's mom. And it concerns me that some women they have dreams in their hearts and they have things that they suspect God's asking them to do, but they're using the kids as an excuse, whether, valid or not, we're going to talk about that in just a second, as to why they can't do the thing. So here's what I've noticed sometimes about women. Sometimes it's easier to use the kids as the reason why you can't than it actually is to do the thing that God's put in your heart, to start the Bible study, to start writing the book, to start the non-for-profit that he's asked you to start the adoption process, to start the new job where you're painting furniture out of your garage. It's easier to say it's not a good time because of the kids than it is to do the thing that you're scared to do and risk failure. Listen, I love you so, so much. And I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Like, I so get that. But here's what I want to encourage you with today. Um, there is so much on this side of heaven, you guys, that we outsource with our children, right? So I'm not teaching my kids Spanish. You know, their school is teaching them Spanish. But we hired somebody to give them driving lessons when they needed to learn how to drive. I mean, we've hired somebody to teach them horseback riding lessons. There's a million things, right? There's a million things. When they were little, they were in children's church and people were teaching them Bible lessons and all the things. But listen, what my concern is, and what my question to you is, and what my challenge is to you today is, who's going to teach your kids courage? Because I know in my knower, there will be times that your kiddo needs to exemplify, demonstrate, walk courageously in this lifetime. 100%. I can say that with 100% certainty. I don't know that they'll ever use pi again. Pi is in like the 3.14 or whatever, ever algebra thing. You know what I mean? There's so much that's taught to our kids, but yet the one thing that I think can be a game changer in the lives of our children, like, who's going to teach them that? Who's going to teach them to try again for something when they failed the first time? Who's going to teach them to walk into a room where they may not be welcome and say what needs to be said, even if their voice is shaking? Who's going to teach them how to, run for student council, even against people who, say that they shouldn't? Like, who's going to teach them courage? Who's going to, and the thing is, like, we can teach it with our mouths, but with children, more is caught than is taught. In fact, in chapter 10 of Fears Not the Boss of You, let me flip it open real quick because I just have it sitting here. I start with a quote from John Maxwell, which says, "Your talk talks and your walk talks, but your walk talks louder than your talk talks." It sounds like Dr. Seuss, right? Your talk talks and your walk talks, but your walk talks louder than your talk talks, which basically means exactly what I just said. More is caught with your kids than taught. So moms, listen, if your kids smell, if they sniff just the smallest scent of, mom's got things that she wishes that she could do, mom's not satisfied because mom knows that God's calling her to something, mom's nervous about starting a business, mom, if they smell that, if they can, like, they can sense that 100 miles away. They really can, especially the older they get. And so moms, if you're sitting down at the kitchen table at night and you're telling your kids, be courageous, be courageous, be courageous, but you're not being courageous in their own life, number one, it's hypocritical. And trust me, I've been there. And number two, who's going to show them what that looks like? Who's going to show them what that looks like? It's got to be you, mom. It's got to be you. It absolutely positively has to be you. Showing them what it looks like to do the things that God's asking you to do, even when you're scared. Even when you lack confidence, which, by the way, if you missed that episode last week, go listen to it where I talk about how confidence and waiting for confidence, like the whole idea of that is just, crap. You need to start without being confident. But go listen to that Monday Fire from last week. Moms, listen, your kids take so many cues off of you. They do. And they learn how to respond to things by watching you. And there's going to be times in their life when they need courage and they're scared and they need to stand up for something and they need to start something and they need to quit something and they need to, end something, and they're going to be able to go back through their Rolodex. And I want them to be able to, like, flip through their Rolodex of, what do I do right now? What do I do right now? And land on, I remember my mother being someone who's courageous. I saw her do something scary and I learned from it. I want them to remember that you were the one in their world who they saw acting courageous, even when she was scared. Fear is not the boss of you. And today, if you have a dream in your heart, a call in your life, just know that God's rooting so hard for you. I'm rooting so hard for you. And guess what? Your kids are rooting hard for you too. They want to see, and they deserve to see, a mother who is fulfilled and living out the life on this side of heaven that God had for her. So listen, if this spoke to you in any way, will you send me a DM on Instagram? I'm in my DMs every single day. I would love to know who this ministered to today. And I got to tell you something else. I almost forgot. Oh my gosh, this is the funnest part of the podcast. If you will text the word Proverbs 31 to 888-111, you have a chance to win a copy of Fears Not the Boss of You and also a $50 Amazon gift card. We're actually going to draw the winner on Friday. So, and the reason we did Proverbs 31 is because did you know that the Proverbs 31 woman is my favorite woman in the Bible? She really is. She really is. She was courageous. She worked. She served her family. She served her husband so well. She served her community, and she served her Lord. So go to 888-111 and type in the keyword Proverbs 31. And that'll enter you to win a copy of Fears Not the Boss of You and a $50 Amazon gift card. So, friends, we're so glad you're here. Until next week, be blessed. Bye-bye.